intend to do everything in my power right now to act on behalf of the American people, with or without Congress. We can't wait for Congress to do its job. So where they won't act, I will. I've told my administration, we're going to look every single day to figure out what we can do without Congress. What can we do without it?
You're listening to the Laura Ingraham Show. Well, I'm sure the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, has something to say about that. I was just going to do it without you, Mr. Speaker. You're not doing anything, so whether it's helping people who are underwater with their mortgages, whether it's doing the end run on the student loan forgiveness issue, he is on the move, on the offensive, and he's going to say, look, they don't do it. They're the lay-back, do-nothing Congress. I'm going to do it for you. Sir, it's good to talk to you, number one, but number two, what do you make of this?
Well, Laura, it's good to be with you, and Laura, I thought that we were a nation of laws and that our country was governed by our Constitution. And as I've been around my district and the country this year, there's more of an interest in our founding principles than any time in my political career. And when you talk about the founding principles, you realize that Article 1 gives the Congress of the United States the power of the purse, and that the President has powers under Article 2. And this idea that you're just going to go around the Congress it's almost laughable. And so we're keeping a very close eye on the administration to make sure that they are following the law and following the Constitution. Now, the one area I agree with is when the President says we can't wait. You know what? We can't wait. Now, we've got 15 bills that have passed the House that would help job creators around our country. They're called the Forgotten 15. They're sitting over in the United States Senate.
They have a name.
As a matter of fact, as of a few minutes ago, there are now 16 bills that have passed the House that would help job creators, and yet sitting over the United States Senate, no action, any way, shape, or form.
The do-nothing Congress with 16 bills passed. And Speaker Boehner, the President is using the power that he has, that he asserts under the executive order authority, which is his, to enact these new ways of dealing with the mortgage problem and dealing with the student loan default issue, $1 trillion outstanding in student loans. We all know about what's happening in states like Nevada and across the country with the real estate market. Are you saying that the President, with his approach today, that from what you know of it, is acting around his constitutional parameters and violating those parameters?
Well, I've got great concerns that he may be. And I know that our committees of jurisdiction, the Education and Workforce Committee, in the area of student loans, when it comes to the homeownership programs, probably the Financial Services Committee, those chairmen and those committee staffs are looking at these proposals to make sure that the President isn't exceeding his authority.
And what will you do if you believe that he is exceeding his authority? What recourse do you have?
Well, we've got an appropriations process that's under control here where we have the ability to limit their use of funds to try to bring this administration to heel. Laura, I've got to tell you, I've had my share of disappointments this year. But I got to tell you what, there's nothing that has disappointed me more over the last 8 weeks than to watch the President of the United States basically give up on the economy, give up on the American people, decide he's going to quit governing, and spend his entire next 14 months campaigning. I mean, America's got big issues. If the President is serious, he ought to be up here working with us to find common ground to solve the issues that the American people want us to solve. You know, we've worked together to pass the free trade agreement. The bill that we passed today, the repeal of the 3% withholding for those who do business with every level of government, is something that's in the President's plan. Guess what? It's also in our plan. I would hope the United States Senate would pick it up. I think when it comes to the Veterans Hiring Program, again, we've already passed that bill. It's in our plan to help get our economy going again. It's also in the President's plan. He ought to be up here helping the United States Senate actually take up these plans and to get them passed.
Well, one of the things he is doing, in addition to crisscrossing the country, is raising a lot of money and then doing what he calls policy exhortations, I guess, to the crowd. Seems a lot like politics to me, but these are
really.
Yeah.
You don't think so, do you, Laura?
No, I mean, I love it when he's screaming out to the crowd in Denver, Speaker Boehner yesterday, Denver, I need your help. I'm like, I need your help, not, I mean, I need your help. How is that not counting as a political speech? And, the taxpayers are on the, on the hook for the cost of these trips.
It sounds like politics to me, but, I was doing an event last night, and I was having a little chat with Larry Gatlin. Now, Larry Gatlin asked me a question. He said, the president is talking about raising $1 billion for his campaign. And Larry said to me, if his ideas are so good, why would you need $1 billion to promote them?
Yeah. Well, Gatlin is just one of my favorites, period. So lucky you. All right. So Speaker Boehner, the president has tried to do what he can implicitly, almost even explicitly now, to reach out to all those folks out at these protests across the United States. And they're railing against Congress. They're kind of railing against everything. But most of the people obviously are a little bit more left wing and perhaps future voters for his reelection bid. This is what he said this week. Let's listen.
What I've said is that I understand the frustrations that are being expressed in those protests. In some ways, they're not that different from some of the protests that we saw coming from the Tea Party.
What do you think about that comparison?
Well, I don't think it's a valid comparison at all. And I understand the frustration the American people are feeling. I talk to people all day here in the Capitol, all day back in my district, around the country. People are frustrated. And that's why the House has been focused all year on trying to create a better environment for job creation in our country. And while we've worked on it all year, we finally formalized our plan for Americans' job creators back in May. And we have worked on this plan all year long. And it really boils down to three parts. It's about doing something about our budget deficit and our mountain of debt that's serving like a wet blanket over our economy. It's
right, but Speaker Boehner,
right,
but Speaker Boehner, why is it then? And I racked my brain about this, but why is it then that poll after poll, while it shows that the President Obama is not certainly being lauded by the American people for his handling of the economy, congressional approval is terrible. I mean, in congressional Republicans have about a 20% approval rating when it comes to the jobs plan. So something isn't working with the Republican message to the people, whether it's an RNC messaging issue or a messaging issue coming out of Congress. For whatever reason, the folks aren't thinking that there's a plan from the Republicans. Why is that?
Well, I don't know that Republicans have talked enough about our plan. And the other thing you have to understand is that when it comes to Republicans, we have a disparate array of voices. We don't have the White House. And so you've got leaders here in Congress, you've got presidential candidates, you've got governors, other members out delivering a message. But, when you've got the White House, you've got the big bully pulpit, and you can direct the rest of your team on what the message is. And so I think the sooner we get a presidential candidate out of this primary process, our message will be much more focused than what you see today.
Do you see yourself endorsing anyone before the convention? Will you endorse somebody?
No, I don't. I don't see that happening. I think we got a lot of good candidates. They're out there presenting their ideas, and I think it's important to allow those who show up in the Republican primary to choose the candidate of their choice.
Should the most conservative candidate win this? Do you hope that the most conservative candidate wins?
I think I'll let Republican voters around the country choose who they think the best candidate is, because my focus is on getting my House team reelected. Whoever the nominee is, I'm going to be there to support him and to move the country in a direction that we can get our economy going again. We can fix our broken tax code and deal with this debt problem.
Well, why are Ohioans in this latest Quinnipiac deal? They are. I guess Obama leads over the Republicans, every single Republican candidate. Do you believe that poll?
Oh, we'll see. The election's a year away. We'll have plenty of time to get our answer out there.
And John Boehner, it's great to talk to you. We didn't get into the super committee stuff, but apparently they say a lot of it's your idea, the Democrats, their plan. So I know you're gonna have a great deal of fun with that. But we really appreciate your joining us, John Boehner, Speaker of the House. Thank you so much.
Bye, Laura.